At Arrow Springs, wild food is also an important part of our diet. So we're going to head into the Kawekers now, chase some wild venison. We're going to cover the whole thing from where we've made the ammunition, we've come in, we've hunted an animal and harvested it, and then we'll show you how we butcher it and package it at the end. So let's go. This is my reloading bench. So we've got here, this is my reloading press. They're used for resizing, putting the, taking the primers in and out, swapping them over, putting in the projectile, all that sort of thing. We've got over here my scales, which are for really accurate measurements of the powder. I've got my recipe that I like for this particular load that I'll be doing today, which is 7mm08. And we've got our powder measure. This just works by going like this. Haven't got the powder in yet, and then we put it into the cup and put that into the shell. We've got some random little bits and pieces that I'll be using in there. This is the funnel that I use to pour the powder into the shell. We've got large rifle primers. We've got lube for when we're resizing the cases. These are the dies for the 7mm08. Here is my shell holder, so we'll have all the shells in there as we're putting the powder in. And then over here is my case tumbler. Before we actually start, we've got to tumble the cases and make them all nice and clean. These ones are already clean actually, but I like them really nice and shiny. So that I usually run them through that one first when they're a bit dirty, and then I put them into this one for a really good polish. And yeah, I just made this out of MDF. It works really well. When you set up for reloading, it is kind of pricey to get the original setup, so I just saved by buying my own making my own tumbler. So basically it just works like this. Just put that battery in, and they'll tumble away like that, and I'll get started when they've finished tumbling. I'll be back. So now that these cases are cleaned and polished, I need to lubricate them. So I get a bit of this lube and I just run it around with my finger all the way around the case. Not enough to clog the die when it goes in, but just enough to lubricate it. And then also, try and get this on the camera, just get a little bit of lube just inside the neck. Just enough to help the projectile seat in there nicely. And now that one's lubricated, ready to go. Goes over here, and I'll carry on working my way through all of these, keeping them separate. Once they're polished, once they're lubricated, I then move them over here, so I don't confuse anything, do anything twice or miss one. Everything has to be systematic. Now that those cases are all lubricated, we take a spent case that has a fired primer, put it in the shell holder, go up into the die until this, I don't know if you saw that, but the little primer popped out. With a little bit over on the other side here, I then put the new primer in, and when I lower it, the new primer will be installed into the shell, and there you go. It's an unspent primer. That's a good one, ready to go. So I'll go all the way through, resize, remove the primer, put new primer in before we add the powder. And yeah, so anyway, I'll go through now and do all of those. Now that those cases are all sized and primed, ready to put in the powder and the projectiles. So I use SST Hornadies, super shock tip. I find that they're accurate and they kill the animal quickly and humanely. So that's the choice I usually go for. So I'll just pop that there. Now we take this little cup and I measure out my powder charge, and then to ensure that each powder charge is exactly the same, I then weigh each one individually. This gives the maximum accuracy of every bullet. This is close to being the same as the other. So we'll just let that scale settle. And yep, I'm happy with that. So here's my funnel. I pop the funnel in the shell and we then put the powder in. Let's make sure that powder's gone in. Yep. Take the projectile, put the shell in the shell holder and put the projectile on top. And I make sure that projectile's pointing pretty much straight up so it feeds nicely into the die, and the die will seat that projectile. And there we go. There's one charged and seated bullet. So there we have it. There's the final product, all ready to go, packaged up. I made these little boxes myself. I figured with all the effort that goes into making your own ammunition, why not have your own custom box? Yeah, just again, little disclaimer. This is not a tutorial. I don't recommend trying this yourself without having a proper lesson from an experienced reloader. If you want to get into reloading yourself, I'd recommend getting down to the local gun club and finding someone there to give you a good lesson on how to do it yourself. I also recommend always trimming your brass. I didn't do it on this particular reload because I was a little sidetracked with the camera work, but I do trim my brass every time, so I know that this lot is safe. They've only been fired once without being trimmed, so they'll be fine, but normally I'll trim the brass every time. But yeah, there we go. Now hopefully we can go harvest a deer. So as we walk in, we just stop and we glass all these faces, looking for any deer on the way in. We'll work our way in, just searching as we go. We've been here for a little while watching, but we don't see anything, so we're going to carry on now. Johan's just doing a little bit of glassing as we're walking along. Haven't seen anything yet. This is the next day, but it's a bit collector. We're hoping that it will burn off as the day goes on, eventually, hopefully. Yagi. Yaga. Yag. Hey mate. We're just sitting on our little clearing. This is a good spot. Yaga's all tucked out. We're just watching up here.
Yeah, something down there. say it's over that way somewhere.
This one?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
You know what? I might need you to go back over and direct us onto the right pine tree. That light is fading, so I want you to actually... So Jaeger's just made his first find. We shot this yearling for about 200 metres away, back over from over there. Nailed it. So we got Jaeger to come and find it, which he managed to do with a bit of patience. Well done, well done. Good boy. How's that, Jaeger? How's that? Good? So today Yuan's going to do all the butchering and skinning. It's his first time doing a whole deer. Just a nice little young one to practice on. So at the moment he's just taking the hocks off, preparing it to cut the incision lines and then hang it. So my job's basically just keep the flies off while Yuan's working, and I put the meat in the bags that comes off the animal. Jaeger's job is to chew on that foot.
Alright, so I've just butchered up all the meat. We've chucked on the meat safe to keep it away from all the flies and keep it nice and cool till we leave.